Have you ever stopped to consider why we, as humans, started wearing clothes? It's a question that might seem simple, but its answer takes us back to the very roots of human civilization. Picture our ancestors in the prehistoric era, crafting the earliest forms of clothing from whatever was available. Animal skins, leaves, and even bones. Clothing was not merely a fashion statement back then. It was a matter of survival. It offered protection from harsh weather conditions, allowing our ancestors to explore and inhabit diverse environments. But it wasn't long before clothing started to represent more than just practicality. It began to serve as a status symbol, distinguishing the leaders from the followers. With time, the crafting of clothing evolved, and so did the materials used. Fabric weaving came into existence, and wool, linen, and silk became the materials of choice in many ancient civilizations. From mere survival to a means of expression, clothing began its journey in human history. As time passed, clothing became much more than just a protective layer. It evolved into an expression of personal identity and societal status, a canvas for creativity and innovation. Let's take a journey through the ages to see how clothing styles have evolved. In the Middle Ages, clothing was primarily influenced by the church. The higher your rank in the church or nobility, the more ornate and decorated your garments were. This was a time when sumptuous fabrics like velvet and silk became popular, and the invention of buttons revolutionized the way clothes were worn. Then came the Renaissance, a period of artistic and intellectual rebirth. Clothing during this era reflected this cultural awakening. People started wearing more fitted garments, showcasing the human figure. Rich, vibrant colors became the norm, and intricate embroidery was a symbol of wealth and status. The Victorian era was a time of strict social codes and prudishness. Women's clothing was conservative, with high necklines and long skirts, while men's fashion was dominated by formal suits. However, this was also a time of great innovation. The invention of the sewing machine in the mid-19th century made clothing production faster and more efficient. It also democratized fashion, making stylish clothes more accessible to the masses. As we entered the early 20th century, clothing started to reflect the changing social landscape. Women gained more rights and freedoms, which were reflected in their fashion choices. The flapper dress, a symbol of women's liberation, was a stark departure from the restrictive clothing of the Victorian era. Men's fashion also evolved with the introduction of more casual styles like trousers and button-down shirts. Through all these changes, one thing was constant: the influence of religion, politics, and social structures on clothing. Whether it was the church dictating fashion in the Middle Ages, the societal norms shaping Victorian clothing, or the women's rights movement influencing early 20th century fashion, it's clear that clothing is more than just fabric and thread. The evolution of clothing is a mirror reflecting societal changes and progress. Fast forward to the present day, and clothing has experienced a revolutionary transformation. With the rise of fast fashion, trends change at lightning speed. Pop culture, with its larger-than-life personalities and global reach, heavily influences these trends. Remember the grunge look of the 90s? Or the athleisure trend that's all the rage today? That's pop culture at work. But it's not just about following the latest trends. Technology has had a profound impact on clothing design and manufacturing. Think laser cutting, 3D printing, or even smart fabrics that can change color. However, with great power comes great responsibility. The fashion industry has been under the spotlight for its environmental footprint. As a result, sustainability has become a major focus. Recycled materials, ethical sourcing, and slow fashion are becoming more than buzzwords. Today, clothing is not just about fashion, it's about identity, culture, and even politics. So what's next in the world of clothing? As we move forward, three key trends are emerging. Firstly, technology is weaving itself into the fabric of our attire. We're talking about clothes that can change color at the touch of a button, or jackets that can charge your phone. Imagine stepping out in a raincoat that cleans itself, or a shirt that regulates your body temperature. Secondly, virtual fashion is stepping off the screen and onto the runway. Designers are crafting digital clothes for our online selves. It's not just about physical garments anymore, it's about creating a whole new dimension of self-expression. Finally, sustainability remains at the forefront. It's all about embracing materials and methods that reduce harm to our planet. Think clothes made from recycled plastic, or plant-based dyes that don't pollute our waterways. As we look to the future, one thing remains clear. Clothing will continue to evolve, just as it has done throughout human history. From animal skins and leaves to high-tech fabrics and virtual fashion, the journey of clothing is indeed fascinating. It's a testament to human innovation, reflecting society's shifts and our personal identities. Clothing, a simple concept yet deeply intertwined with our lives, continues to tell our story as humans, reflecting who we are and who we aspire to be.